kitties, and welcome to episode 15 of the tches podcast. I'm Caitlyn.
And I'm Kelly. Welcome. Thanks for being here. And thanks for being here on this couch with me, Caitlyn. Thanks to your handiwork on the technology front.
Girls, we're leveling up in life. We have updated our equipment to be a little bit more legitimate, if you will, and to maybe subtract some of the audio glitches and inconsistencies we've been having recently. All we have to say is that we are sitting on the same couch, looking at each other in the eyes, in the flesh, and we're wearing the same pajamas. That was just another piece of information I just wanted to throw in there. So
I'm only wearing the pajama pants. I'm wearing a sweater on top.
Okay, well.
But yeah, happy to be here. Happy to not have to be dealing with so many technological platforms. We really started out very smoothly, and then it just would get derailed unexpectedly with technical difficulties, and I don't want to spend that much time talking about them because technical difficulties make people sad.
Yeah.
But we are marching into March, almost, because it's a short month. It's a leap year, though.
Trombones lead the big parade.
Musical theater plug. But March 29th, or February 29th is
just
happening
around the
this
corner.
year, and it hasn't happened in 4 years, since the year 2020. Ooh.
Happy birthday to everyone. Hope it's a better birthday than 2020's.
No,
Well,
they hadn't yet. The world hadn't yet shut down. So they probably had a great birthday.
That's so true.
And then the world has not been so great after that. But
They didn't have to deal with it on their birthday, though.
So true. I did. I had a COVID birthday. I actually, my birthday was in April. So freshly COVID.
Yeah.
And poor sweet Matt tried to host me a COVID birthday party, and it was just our two friends who also lived in Jacksonville, and the state was mostly open. We absolutely could have seen them in person. But I was like, oh my God, thank you so much for doing this, but I really wish you hadn't.
Wait, they were on Zoom?
Yeah. I
think know this happened. I wasn't invited.
Yeah, no, because Matt sent a Facebook message to a bunch of people.
Oh.
Yeah, except nobody checks Facebook, so nobody replied to him. So the only people that replied, because he didn't have my friend's phone number, so these were also my friends, but these two people were also his friends, so those were the people he texted.
Right.
And then everyone else didn't respond to him. But he didn't want to tell me that he tried to host me a COVID birthday party and no one responded. But it wasn't because they didn't like me, it was because no one was checking their Facebook messages, Matt.
Get a grip.
Get a grip and get an Instagram, which he eventually did.
Well, that was the same birthday that was Chocolate Mousse Cupcake Gate.
Right. Well, that was your fault.
Yeah. To be short, wait, what is the saying?
I don't know.
To keep it brief.
Yeah.
Pretty much, it was the summer of,
April 2020.
Spring of COVID 2020, and Kelly and Matt and I and Liz and Bill were in Jacksonville because I was sent home from school and you were living there. And we decided to have a family get together.
Oh, it was Easter.
Oh, your birthday and Easter were the same day?
No. Oh my God. We were together 10 days before. My birthday is April 28th. We came over to our parents' house in Ponte Vedra whenever Easter was that year, probably April 20th, because that's typically when it falls.
Yeah.
So it was 10 days or so before my birthday. And you two, you and Mom, not so sneakily asked me, what kind of cake or cupcakes would you like for your birthday? Because the plan was we were coming back to the house for my birthday, or that weekend. So I explicitly said, thank you for asking. I would love Sweet by Holly chocolate mousse cupcakes, which are a chocolate cake with a white vanilla mousse filling and icing. Okay, they said. And then I'll tell you what happened from my perspective,
okay,
and then you can put your own spin on it. But from my perspective, I didn't hear about that, which is good because you shouldn't have to facilitate your own birthday cake until it was either the night before my birthday or the morning of my birthday.
It wasn't the morning of. It was dark outside.
Day before. Okay. It was the day before the party that my parents were hosting. And by party, I mean us, them, and Matt. And Caitlyn texts me they don't have any chocolate mousse cupcakes. And I promptly freaked out on her because I'm like, are you serious? Do not make my birthday cake, which I told you what I would like 10 days ago, my problem today because you waited till the last minute. Like,
Okay.
what's that phrase? Your emergency,
No.
your lack of planning is not my emergency, except you're making it my emergency, and it's for my birthday, which I just found really rude. So I got rude because I was upset because sometimes I feel like if I don't plan it, it doesn't happen. And then I'm like, guys.
Which is not true. That's a projection.
It is, but that's how I was feeling in the moment. And it was like, really? I have to like execute my own birthday cake too?
No, nobody was asking you to execute your own birthday.
You were coming to me with
Cake.
problems, not solutions.
No, I was coming to you with, they don't have, this is the situation, they don't have them. What is your alternative favorite? That was all the question was.
My opinion was just that you should have pre-ordered them.
Okay, sure, we should have. I didn't. It was COVID. Everyone was overwhelmed.
It was COVID. It was Florida. it was barely COVID.
Okay, well, I did it. Okay, but you got really, really mean right off the bat when I wasn't trying to say you need to fix this problem. All I was saying was, oops, sorry, this is the sitch. Like, can you tell me another flavor that you might like because this isn't the case? Well, crisis averted because I don't know why I assumed that as well as the chocolate mousse cupcake, she also meant minis.
Which I never said.
Which
right?
you never said. I assumed because I think Sweet by Holly was...
R.I.P. They're closed now.
Rest in peace. Are they closed in Orlando too?
Yeah, they closed everywhere.
It's really sad. They were really delicious cupcakes.
Former winners of Cupcake Wars.
Yeah, they had normal size ones and then they had these minis. And like they had a really fun like 2 for something deal when you would like a grab and go situation for the minis that I would always take advantage of when I was like on a shopping trip. Mommy and I would like pop in and get some mini cupcakes. So like my mind when I thought Sweet by Holly chocolate mousse cupcakes, it immediately went to the minis. And so that's what I was going to order the day before and they didn't have them. And it didn't even occur to me that we could like get the normal sized ones. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It was a lapse of judgment, and I had no idea what was in store for me when I brought it forward to Miss Kelly because it was traumatic. I still am scarred from that.
Well, here's
experience.
a tip for me if you're ever dealing with me, especially. Although I don't know. I think this is a general tip.
Sound off in the comments. Let us know if you.
My old boss told me this one time, and she meant this was not like directed at me. It was like in general, like don't bring people problems, bring people solutions.
Yeah.
Figure out what your alternative plan is before you tell them there's a problem, because you make it a lot easier for them to say, yeah, do that.
Yeah.
Versus asking them to come up with a solution, which like can piss people off and or frustrate them or just create a bigger problem. So I was reacting from that sense of you're bringing me a problem and no solution. Because if the question had been, hey, they don't have these minis, are the regular size okay? Which I would have been like, yeah, I didn't want a mini cupcake. I wanted a normal size one. Or even if you had said, hey, they don't have chocolate mousse, but they have vanilla cream bean, whatever. I would have been like, okay, because at least that's something for me to say yes to rather than like, let me fix the problem for you. Well, and you know me, I'm a problem fixer. So
right.
That is just like always the mindset I'm coming from. And I had a former colleague who would frequently bring me problems, not solutions. And that also really annoyed me. So it's not just you.
No. Oh, I know this.
And ultimately there was no problem because they had the cupcake of choice.
They did. We ended up getting like a 12 pack of the normal size chocolate mousse cupcakes and everything was fine, but my did I get yelled and screamed at. And
well, I yelled and screamed at you because mom called me and screamed at me over being mean about cupcakes. And the greater point was no one put any consideration into my birthday until right now.
That wasn't true.
When you asked me about this 10 days ago.
I understand that that's how you felt in the moment, yeah. But that wasn't true. And I think you got a little hot-headed.
Totally. It was COVID.
Oh, please. Oh, please.
Okay, well, moving on. I don't even know how we got onto this topic other than my birthday.
I wasn't done.
Well, I think we've beat the dead chocolate mousse horse.
Okay, fine. All right, moving on.
What was the point? April birthday? My birthday's coming up. No. COVID birthday
Obviously.
parties? Oh, that our new technology and that like COVID birthday parties like brought forth the advent of Zoom parties, which I'm so glad died.
Yeah.
But our previous situation was reminding me of a COVID birthday party.
For sure. And it was just like not as fun, and it always just like made me a little sad. So I'm so glad to be speaking with you on this same couch. It's just so much more fun and communal.
Perfect.
But we have a lot of fun stuff on deck today. Some things to look forward to, and a let me take a deep breath. An installment of Kelly's nuptial news.
And there's news.
Really big things on that front. We have a few reviews. We're going to start to implement this more weekly, whether it's like a favorite or, you know, like a food review or a review on a product or something. Something of that nature. It won't be the same week to week, but this week we have a fun Starbucks review, both of us do, on some recent drinks we've been enjoying. And Kelly went to Carbone in Dallas.
I do, and I hadn't ever been. And I mean, we spend a lot of time in New York. You live there.
Yeah.
I think they have them all over now these days, though. But
sure.
I haven't ever been, and kind of thought it was like overhyped and probably not as good as people were saying. But I'll tell you more about that later.
Yeah, for sure. And then just a postcard from Camp Kelly. We've been here for, what, 2.5 weeks now? By we, I mean me.
Yeah, I think so.
And there's a lot to discuss. And by that, I mean...
activities?
Yeah, activities that we'd just like to share with you. And I'd love to just like bring you guys in on the action, because unfortunately we're not open to new campers.
Yeah, there's... Well, we have a couch in the 3rd bedroom.
Yeah, I mean, never say never, but this session...
This session is full, yeah, that's true.
But we want to let you in on the fun, so we will get back around to that.
But before we do, or is there more on the agenda?
No.
Your Instagram query for...
Oh, yeah. So along with having some new audio
features,
yes. I have been really just like uninspired by our Instagram game at Savage Says Pod on Instagram. I was having a lot of fun with it at first, and now I'm just like, feel like I'm in a rut. That's why if you don't see a lot of postings recently, it's not because I'm not thinking of everyone in this community and wanting to be more present. It's because I just don't like the vibes. I feel like we've curated a little bit more cartoon than high fashion. And it's just not...
That's not who we want to be.
No. So we're trying to rebrand a little bit. Like, literally, it's been, 3 months doing this once a week, and I'm already like, okay, time for a rebrand. But I just wanted to be upfront with you guys.
Evolution is important, though.
Of course. And we have some fabulous kitties here with us, and we would love your input. So I'm going to drop a box in the Instagram stories if you guys have any like ideas or like aesthetics or something that you think would be a fun implementation on the Instagram, either like visually from an aesthetic standpoint or like, you know, some interactive things we could do. Let me know. I'm excited to hear.
Great. Amazing. So what's up first for this?
I think our Starbucks
Chitter-chat.
reviews.
Yeah, I just tossed the last of mine in the trash. Do you want to talk
sad.
about it? Well, I finished it. It
Yeah.
just was like, you know, the ice with the last of the bits, which we didn't need.
So you go ahead and talk about that. What?
Okay. So Caitlyn, among our activities at Camp Kelly, one of them is that I work a lot at the computer, and Caitlyn is so kind as to pick up Starbucks and Chick-fil-A and Kava and tropical smoothie and all the things so that I stay nourished and can continue to provide for this household. One of the things she picked up today was Starbucks, and I told her to surprise me with a little treat. And she went with the new... You have typed here oleogate shaken espresso, which I might have added. Think that is the name. I just had my Starbucks app up, and I think there's some extra letters that you've added.
Well, I keep wanting to call it olio e più, which means something in Italian, because there's a restaurant in the West Village called Olio e Più that we've been to.
Olio is oil, isn't it?
Oh, probably.
I don't know what pew means, but yeah, we've been to. That was good. Okay, wait. Well, here it is, straight from Starbucks. Subtle, sweet, and shaken. Our new Oleato golden foam ice shaken espresso with toffee nut is velvety smooth and deliciously lush.
Like, goddamn, what a mouthful.
Goddamn, what a mouthful.
But I love that description.
Thank you so much. I put on my broadcaster voice for that. I actually was in Sacramento. No, where was I? I was in Santa Cruz, California last week. And I stopped at the Starbucks there and lovely interaction. I saw this on the menu and I asked them, I said, what is this? And she said, oh, it's like our olive oil shaken espresso. And I kind of looked at her like, huh? And she looked at me back like, yeah, I don't know. And I was like, okay, I don't think I'm going to do that. But you brought it back today. I was a little nervous, but it was very delicious. It definitely had like a salty quality, but not quite as salty as like the salted caramel. Had a richness. I think that's the toffee nut speaking. I would definitely drink it again. My only negative feedback would be that, well, firstly, the tall was perfect. Like I didn't need more than that.
Right.
I find that to be true for any shaken espresso though. And then when I got to the end of it, like, you know, at the bottom with the ice and you're like tipping it back, trying to get the last few sips, the olive oil seemingly definitely had like concentrated at the bottom.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And I got like a few little swigs of like
Straight up
I wouldn't
oil.
even say oil forward, but like nutty, like savory forward that I didn't need. And I think that's just kind of a circumstance of that drink. So something to be aware of. And then secondly, you informed me, I'm not even sure I want to know, that it's a potential calorie bomb.
Yeah, so I tried this golden foam extravaganza a few days ago. I had a free reward at Starbucks, and so
love it.
I was like, oh, let me try the new thing, just in case I didn't like it. Then I wasn't like, wow, I spent $8 for a tall, because that,
I mean, olive oil is expensive,
right? And that's what kind of shook me at first. I like looked at the description, and for a tall it's like $7.50, and I'm like, hello, okay, like,
oh my god, wait, calories?
No, I'm sorry, $750.
Dollars.
No, not
dollars.
Oh my god,
$7. Okay,
$7.50.
Got it.
But I'm like, yeah,
for a tall.
So that's why I was like, okay, I'll use my reward. No harm, no foul. And hopefully I don't like it too much, because I can't afford this. So
not in this economy. Not while Caitlyn is living rent free.
Certainly not.
And has a sublease.
Times
I
are
can't
tough.
afford this, she says. Okay.
Yeah, this is I'm currently like living my best life.
We'll get there in a minute.
Yeah. Don't want to diverge too far from.
But you liked it.
I liked it a lot. But in this, like, when I tried it, I was like, ooh, this is actually really good. It was like salty, kind of buttery.
Velvety,
yes. It was just like really delicious. Liked it way more than I thought I was going to. So I looked further into it. And that's when I discovered, once again, that it was so expensive. And that a tall is like 310 calories or something.
No.
Actually, I think the grande is like 310 calories.
Okay.
But still, that's an unnecessary amount. That's like drinking a peppermint mocha every day. Like, you don't need it. It's delicious. It's a fun treat.
Right.
But like for your wellness, you don't need that much like sugar
for
or
your
fat,
wellness. Yes.
Or, you know, and I'm not trying to be like,
this isn't diet culture,
No.
but drinking your calories is never recommended.
No.
So I hear.
right. You want to have, I enjoy doing so, but the experts say that's not recommended.
Right.
Cut to me getting like an icy, like a large, big
Coke
Q
icy.
icy after rehearsal tonight.
Well, yeah, Caitlyn just informed me that they're a calorie bomb, and I was like, oh, okay, cool, Katie Heron, giving me Caltine bars as I try to, be a gorgeous skinny bride. Like, hi, are you trying to sabotage me?
Okay, to be fair,
no, I'm glad I tried it.
we had sweet green last night, which is like so healthy.
We shared a salad.
Like that, we're that skinny.
Yeah, but those salads are huge.
So
I
true.
also had 3 cookies before you came in the door with that salad.
And then we made Toll House cookies after.
Right.
So, no point to that other than
balanced, everything in moderation.
totally. So apart from that, I was considering getting another one of those, but again, times are tough. So I opted for a different shaken espresso concoction, which honestly was probably more calories and more money, but I don't want to think of the logistics. So what I've been enjoying recently has been let me see, I have it right here, a grande or tall shaken espresso. Usually don't go with a venti. Have never done a venti other than like with a cold foam situation. a grande shaken espresso, no classic syrup, because they will put that in there if you don't specify, with salted caramel cold foam. Now, I know you say that you thought the olive oil one was a little bit less salty than the salted caramel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you said, I think buttery is the right word.
Buttery, yeah.
So it's a little salty, but more so buttery.
Right. Well, I'm a salt fiend.
Yeah, same. Matt is concerned about our general salt intake, but we seem to be fine. My blood pressure has never been better.
Glad to hear it. Yeah, and I've like taken this up with other people too, and it's like, oh, like you salt your pizza? I'm like, you don't?
Yeah, what? Oh my God. So we have Maldon sea salt at our house, which is like elevated salt. They're like flakes rather than granules.
Like sprinkle salt.
And they're also very potent. But they're delicious, especially with like a sprinkle on your steak as you eat it, like piece by piece. Amazing. Matt made a roast, I think it was, like I don't even know. What are those things that like they have at the country club that they saw pieces of meat off of?
Oh, I don't know.
Prime rib? No. I don't know. A piece of meat that he carved up for Christmas dinner with my family here in Atlanta. Yeah. And we had put like a little bit, like a Maldon sea salt canister, like a small dish on the table to sprinkle conservatively on your steak. My dad literally took the canister and dumped it on top of his prime rib. No, is that what I just said? What is it called? I don't know. It'll come to me later. Is it a prime rib? I don't know.
You saying roast confuses me because I don't know.
Don't ask me to explain meats and their various names. When I found out that a filet mignon is part of a ribeye, too confusing.
Yeah.
That could be wrong also. Anyway, Bill literally dumped the canister of very potent salt all over his piece of meat, and Matt literally gasped. He was like, oh, you don't want to do that. And my dad was like, yes, I do.
Of course I
do. He was way too proud to like, possibly react with it being too salty. He was like, perfect. Yeah. So I think we get it from him.
Cries.
But you liked your salted caramel shaken espresso.
I'm really liking it. To make it even better, a little caramel drizzle in there, like in the cup, to kind of seep into that oat milk shaken espresso. So good.
Amazing.
Also an additional 60 cents, not to be like cheap, but you can do without it. Like today I did without it and it was still good.
Love it.
So yeah, that's been my recent fave.
I actually tried a new coffee shop while I was in Dallas last week.
Okay.
My friend Grace and her dog Cannoli took me to La La Land, which is I think a Los Angeles based coffee shop, which checks out with its name. Very cute, like branded all like yellow and smiley faces. And then they had these like really unique cups that felt like they were moving in the wrong direction from like less plastic efforts.
Right, probably
but
like a lot more.
Down for it as they were cute, and they had these like pink lids and pink straws with a heart. They were just really cute. And I got the lavender bloom latte, which was lavender and vanilla and espresso, and it was really great. It had some avocado toast. So impromptu review of La La Land, the coffee shop. Definitely would go again. I don't think it's made I do not think it has made its way this far east. I think it's like California, Dallas. I think I probably could be in like probably not Utah. They don't really drink so much coffee out there.
Okay. Yeah, probably not. They only have a few Starbucks in Salt Lake City, as you mentioned the other night.
But other places I went in Dallas, Carbone, as you mentioned.
Let's hear it.
So yeah, I'll get right to it. Exceeded my expectations. I had low expectations, just assuming it was kind of like a sceney Instagram trap, and people are just going for the clout, because like you have to book like 30 days out, and it's hard to get reservations, and everything's really expensive, but it's like very, I don't know. It's a place to post on Instagram, I suppose.
Right.
That doesn't mean the food's good. Right. And I'm not necessarily like Miss Food purist. Like I love a good meal, but I also love a good ambiance.
Right.
But Grace was able to get us reservations in Dallas. Definitely, like we made them the day before, so like seemingly not as hard to come by as the location in New York, which is the OG.
And it was during the week, right?
Yeah, and it was a Wednesday night, so that probably helped. And it was at like 6:15, so all the stars aligned for us. But they brought out so much like antipasti in the beginning that I'm like, this is bizarre for like an expensive / like seemingly sought after restaurant. They're typically not bringing you free stuff.
Right.
But they brought out this delicious bread that I think they called like Nana's bread. Nona? I don't know.
Someone's grandma's bread.
And it was like pizza bread. And it was really good. And then they brought out like some Genoa salami and Parmesan. And then this like pickled cauliflower, which I wasn't that into, but I really appreciated the small bites to cleanse our palate. They made a great dirty martini. Our waiter, Jeff, was lovely. Great service. We got a bottle of wine from the sommelier. Her name was Rosemary. She was great too.
Wonderful.
Actually, she gave me her card. I need to email her for recommendations in France. Remind me to do that later.
Fab.
And then we tried the spicy rigatoni, which is all the rage. That's like what they're known for. And Matt makes a really good spicy vodka rigatoni. Sorry, Matt. This one was better.
Ooh.
And I've had vodka pasta is not like a revolutionary concept. Easy to come by. But this one definitely was amazing.
Wow. Okay. So I know it's different because it's spicy. Was it better, or on a scale, how was it compared to the, what's it called? Oh, that place in La Pecora Bianca.
Ooh.
Rigatoni. That's a personal favorite of mine.
Contrast. We love the La Pecora Bianca vodka pasta with burrata too. That one's definitely more creamy. This one's a little bit more of like a velvety coating.
Okay.
I would say less rich, more flavorful. But both great. I think I give Carbone the edge though.
Okay. Love to hear it. Well, we'll have to go in New York.
Yes, we will one day.
See how it compares. I'm sure it's the same recipes.
Yeah. I would recommend. The one weird thing was that this location was in the design district of Dallas, which I'm not like super familiar with, but this building absolutely is a warehouse that they just dressed up.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So location wise, like this restaurant could have been anywhere. Like it's just like 4 walls pretty much and like one big open space that they've like dressed up for sure. Like we were in like a cool banquette and it had trees and a carpet, like a red carpet.
Oh wow.
And it was kind of giving old school Italian, like their vibes.
I feel like the one in New York too is kind of like that too, like hole in the wall. Not like dumpy, but just like old school Italian.
Yeah, this definitely wasn't giving dumpy, but like the plates were kind of like different patterns. Yeah. A little kitschy. Yeah. For what you might not expect that to be. So overall, very positive review. Would definitely go again. Loved dinner with my friends Grace and Kristen. Kristen, I think, is a Savage Says listener because she immediately walked into dinner and said, I have a bone to pick with you from what you said on the podcast last time about the Zola websites.
Ooh, roasted.
Ooh. I don't apologize. And I didn't apologize. No, I'm sorry. I don't apologize about that statement. I absolutely will apologize if I feel like I've said something or done something wrong. I will not apologize, however, if I don't. And I don't think I was wrong about that. And if you didn't listen to the episode or missed what I said about that, it was regarding the Zola, the not wedding websites where in most cases, like it populates a URL for you, right? Like zola.com/Kelly and Matt 2025, whatever. But sometimes the URLs are crazy. Right. Especially if you have a common name, probably like Allie and John or something. There's too many of them. So they have to give you all these like letters and numbers and underscores and stuff. And I just think that that's very cumbersome for someone to try to type in and get to the right place. Yeah. And like the likelihood they're doing that is low. Whereas if you just Google that, honestly, it'll come up. So crisis averted. But for us, we purchased, or I purchased, I insisted to Matt it was necessary, a custom URL. So kellyandmatt2025.com is live.
Swanky.
Well, it's actually not live, but I own it.
I was like, is it?
No.
I've never visited.
No, it's not live, but I do own it to be able to eventually link the wedding website. But Kristen had not done that and felt like I was attacking her, which is not what I was going for. And I assured her that whatever her website is, I think zola.com/like Kristen and Cody is working out just fine for them because I was able to find her registry and send her an air fryer.
Obsessed.
So, yeah.
Well, as last week's episode title says, it's not personal. It's just business.
Exactly. I don't remember what that was in reference to.
It was like, so it was a stretch. Last week's episode title was a stretch. Not gonna lie, it wasn't our best week. I also sounded like a Zoom monster, like from my computer audio. So
right, that's true.
Anyway, just forgive us. We're moving on. We're getting better.
Yeah, we're marching into March
for sure. But speaking of Zola.com, Kelly's nuptial news. We have a few heavy hitters, so let's hear them.
Heavy hitters, yes. Dallas was big for us. In Dallas, I went to a store called Iconic Bride, which feels appropriate. Not if I do say so myself.
Stop. The way that we just said the same thing and then giggled with the same cadence.
Anyway, I did not go there by accident. As many of you have heard, if you're listening, this was my 13th stop. So I've been to 12 other gown stores, and I haven't necessarily been like out here pursuing them. I've been going when I'm in certain cities, and luckily I've been in New York, Orlando, Atlanta, LA in the last few weeks, and then was making my way through Dallas for work. The reason I went to Iconic Bride is because one dress that kept resurfacing, specifically in New York and LA, which feels very posh. For me, that was always the front runner. The front runner is can I share the designer? Is that oversharing?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so it's a Ravini dress by the designer Rita Veneris, and her design rep is based out of Dallas, and he owns Iconic Bride. So each store I was talking to, there were some customizations we wanted to make to this dress, and they were having to talk to him about those changes. I kind of wanted to just go straight to the source and meet with him directly, and which is what I did. So I went to his store in Dallas, Iconic Bride, to meet with him about these customizations to this dress that we would prospectively make. And in doing so, I felt really good about that process. That dress was kind of the one that, we were trying to beat the whole time. And at stop number 13, which I did try on some other stuff there, which were beautiful options as well, but kind of just felt like this was our girl and we needed to pull the trigger. So Grace was able to meet me. We were, we workshopped some things. Actually, we had on a totally different top, like of another dress. And we were about to pull the trigger on that. And then we did one last look-see at the like original silhouette on this dress, as is with other changes. I know I'm being very vague. And Grace and James, the owner, both were like, it's that one. It's that one. Don't mess with success.
Yeah.
Like, don't try to change. Like, let's go with why this works rather than try to make it something it's not supposed to be.
Totally. And the other one it was beautiful and it would have been lovely, but I think those two things were put together for a reason, and I'm really glad that you're sticking to it, but making it your own a little bit. But please share, just like for context, please share what was his name?
James
said to you when you walked in the door of Iconic Bride.
I don't know. What did he say?
I've been waiting. Oh, no.
No, that's when I called. I told that story last week. No, when I called him to make the appointment, they put me on the phone with him and he said, I've been waiting for your call because he knew I had been crazy town USA, like in New York, in Atlanta, in LA, flying around.
All of who had to like contact James.
All of who were contacting James to consult on these customizations.
Right.
So
Hilarious.
And there was a giraffe in the store. Not a real one, but like
I wish that'd be cool.
A life-size one. Like it was the same size as, maybe it was a little shorter.
It was giving like toy store, but for brides.
Totally. And if you're listening and you're a prospective bride or will be, definitely recommend Iconic Bride. The store was beautiful. I would say the most luxurious store I was in, besides Kleinfeld. And very fresh, very new. Everything's very clean. And they have beautiful gowns, especially if you're looking for something a little extra, which is everyone shocked? That's what we were looking for. They have a lot of extra, but not in a new money trashy sort of way, in a high fashion Iconic Bride sort of way.
Yeah.
So overall, very positive experience. Happy to say yes to the dress. But I didn't want anyone to worry. Not that anyone's looking that closely. Caitlyn and my mom both were with me when I found this dress the first time in New York.
Yeah.
So they were part of the initial experience. We just didn't pull the trigger right away.
Yeah.
This was more of like a pull the trigger trip. But I feel relieved and happy that like you guys were part of finding that dress the first time.
Yeah, I would have been sad if I wasn't any part of that and it was just like you found a new random dress at Iconic Bride and we're like, okay, I want this one. I would have been sad. I would have supported you, of course, but personally I just would have been sad. So but I'm happy for you and I'm so glad that this has
come together.
Yes, we've clinched it, except I need you to like chill out because I walked in on her yesterday watching Say Yes to the Dress and on some other bridal website, like, oh my god, do I like this one better? Maybe I can call them and they can make the top like this. I'm like, girl, you literally signed the paperwork, like signed, sealed, delivered. There's no going back. You love the dress, I love the dress. And then I had to tell her all the reasons why I didn't like the one that she was looking at and like gawking over, and I wasn't making it up.
Good. I'm glad you were honest.
Just being straight up.
No, I mean, tell me, listeners, if you don't or do feel the same way, like but normally I'm very decisive and like good with that decision and move forward. I think the difficult part here is so much of these major decisions and major expensive decisions have to be made so far out in advance that you have the opportunity to second guess yourself and really contemplate like, oh, did I make the right decision? And like see a lot of other stuff in between committing to something, whether that's a venue, a dress, a planner, whatever. And when you actually like put it all into practice, like there's sometimes too much time. And I can see the benefit of like kind of being on a tighter timeline of between being engaged and like getting married, because you have less time to second guess your decisions.
Yes.
I probably honestly could have benefited from less time to second guess these decisions, but that's not the situation we're in. So we got to trudge along. But I love watching Say Yes to the Dress because we got the Kleinfeld experience and it's fun to watch that. But in the end, the girl in the episode I was watching actually decided on a Ravini dress as well.
There you go. So it's a sign.
So it was a sign that I should just let it be and stop worrying about it. But I think I'm going to start like unfollowing all of the gown designers that I followed. Yeah. To like look at what they were posting and see their new collections, because it's too late. It's not healthy. Although, there's always an opportunity for a second dress.
Skirt. No, but you're right. Like, I think that
like a short second dress.
Yeah. Like a reception dress.
Yeah, because this isn't giving anything away, but the one thing James said was like, this dress is kind of not something you can bustle, which for those of you unfamiliar with bustling,
losers, I'm gonna school you now. No, I didn't know what it meant till like last night.
Yeah, it's essentially when you like just have a situation on the back of the dress where you can pin it up so that it isn't like trailing behind you, especially if you have a train at the reception or during dancing or whatever, right? So it's like the ability to condense the dress, which like who wants to condense the dress, right? But this particular train, this fabric, this skirt, whatever, like not conducive to a bustle. So he was saying like we might need to make the skirt detachable. Yeah. Or like able to be converted to a mini dress, which I don't know if I love that. No. I think I'd honestly rather just like change altogether. Right. I don't love the idea of making it a mini dress or making it a detachable skirt. Wow, we're dropping like mage hints here, but like the skirt is pretty lightweight. And I like the idea of you kind of like, I think you said maybe putting like a finger hole in it and you could like attach it to your finger or your wrist. I believe it's called a wristlet. Oh, okay. Well, not a finger hole. Yeah. Putting a wristlet on the back. Just like having it kind of as a prop. I like that idea, especially because it won't be like heavy. Yeah, like cumbersome to do. Totally. And the dress is so iconic. Like you want to keep it on, you don't want to change right away. But you know, Liz Savage is totally opposed to second dresses. Yeah, she's not into that. No, she was like, why would you change? Like it's your wedding dress and at your wedding. You should be wearing it. And obviously the financial aspect, but like so more to come on that one. Otherwise though, some other developments which were really, really plaguing me and stressing me out over the last few weeks were the planner situation. So if you joined us last week, you remember that my established wedding planner reached out to inform me that they were no longer doing weddings. Amazing news, which to me felt a little bit like being the last girl that someone dates before they decide that they definitely are into men. You know what I mean? Like it was always this way and they knew that, but like you were what put them over the edge of like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going to live my truth. That's what I did to my wedding planner. Apparently I was her last bride before she was like, you know what? This is bad for my health, which is what she said. Right. She's like, oh, not this girl. Yeah. Nope. Got to quit before her. Unfortunately, however, I'd signed a contract with the company that she worked for. So I was in a contract with them and not her. So by her quitting or leaving, essentially, I was still in a contract with them, even though I hired her for her venue expertise and overall vibes. Right. So that was a challenge. And then I met with the prospective replacement from this company, and no offense to her, we just didn't vibe. She might have vibed with me, but I didn't vibe with her. And she doesn't have the same experience. Like, I wouldn't have hired this company if she were initially the planner, just because I was seeking specific experience with my venue that she didn't have. And she was put in a bad situation, but it just wasn't the right fit. Didn't feel great. So I was interviewing some other planners. I talked to 3 more. Got one just quote that literally made me want to die inside. And I thought that was where the rest were headed to. And I was maybe going to have to call off this whole wedding out of distress. But luckily that didn't happen. The other 2 were much more in the ballpark where we were before. Definitely spending more money after all of this, but the original company agreed to give me half of my retainer back, which is good, and they didn't have to do. I was in a contract with a non-refundable retainer. They could have kept it all and told me, sorry, tough luck. I did consult an attorney in a different state. She won't be named. But if you have context clues, you could probably figure it out. And she did give me some, language or opportunities to kind of fight back if that came to fruition, but luckily we were able to resolve it through being nice, which isn't always my MO, but but I also don't think they should have had done any work for free. They held the date for me. They did some stuff. They did everything they should have done up until now. So like, they lost an employee. The whole thing sucks, but I found another planner that I feel really good about. I'm really excited about her. She has a musical theater background.
Iconic.
She told me before I told her much about us. So unless she's a sneaky listener of the Savage Fist podcast, it seems like it was a really great fit from the start. She's also from New York, and our mom is from New York and generally doesn't trust anyone unless they're from New York.
Yeah.
Not that I really think my mom trusting the wedding planner is like maximum need, but like it certainly doesn't hurt.
Right.
So I'm facilitating the partial refund from the first planner now and getting situated with the other one shortly thereafter. Really excited to be finally moving forward. I felt very stuck over the last few weeks in just like a bad situation and not able to move forward with the many vendors I've reached out to, and I didn't like that. I don't like the idea or feeling like I'm leaving people hanging. I don't like what that would say about me. In some cases I told them what was going on and that I would follow up once it was worked out, but excited to move forward. We're turning a new leaf, and hopefully it's all smooth sailing from here. Yeah,
a lot of breakups and a few break-ins, if you will.
Yes, and what I figured out in this is that I've actually never broken up with anyone.
Really? You've only been broken up with?
Well, I don't particularly like hearing it that way. I've only ever had 2 boyfriends, believe it or not.
Right.
And yeah, the first one did break up with me, which is ridiculous.
Yeah. So true.
Totally ridiculous. But don't worry, I didn't let him go without a fight. We dated for like 2 more years after he tried to break up with me the first time.
And thank God not anymore.
Thank God not anymore. But honestly, I should have just let that sucker loose when it happened. But yeah. To that point, one broke up with me and then the other one proposed. So I've never broken up with anyone, at least in a romantic sense. But I did have to break up with a wedding planner and the other dress associates that I'd worked with.
Yeah, that's true.
Those were hard. So I went to, as we've rehashed, 13 stores. And some of the dress associates, like I couldn't even tell you their names anymore. It wasn't a particularly personal experience. But in other cases, we had a great experience with some of these bridal associates, Kleinfeld being one of them, and then a store in Orlando called the Bridal Finery, and had such lovely experiences with them. And they really took very personal care of me and were totally invested in what we were doing, one of which was the dress that we found and ultimately said yes to elsewhere. And then another was kind of the like second place front runner dress. And I texted both of them just to let them know that I'd found the dress somewhere else and that, I wasn't going to be needing the dress that we'd looked at with them because I just didn't want to leave them hanging. I felt like we had built rapport and they might not have cared at all, but I didn't want it to come across like I didn't care about the time and effort that they had put in. And we left it with both of them that I would follow up regarding what we were doing. So those were hard texts too, though. Like, oh, thank you so much, but I'm going in a different direction.
Yeah.
Was just like,
we must part ways now.
Yeah. I mean, I even like dated around on Hinge for a little bit before I met Matt. And like, didn't break up with anyone there either, in terms of like texting someone to be like, sorry, I just don't think it's a match. Like I went on a lot of first dates, had a lot of fun, went on a few second dates, and then everything just like
Fizzled.
organically fizzled. So yeah, I've officially broken up with someone, but it was not in the way you would think.
Wow. Well, congratulations. It's an important life experience.
It is.
Well, before we bid you adieu, we just want to, as we said, leave you with a postcard from Camp Kelly, kind of let you know what we've been up to collectively. And then we'll say goodbye until next week. But we'll see you on the Instagram. Anyway, we're not leaving yet. So, anyway, one of our favorite activities at Camp Kelly is movie night. And by movie, we mean watching Housewives of Salt Lake City.
Which is new, at least for me, because I have never watched any Housewives before.
Yeah, and I feel like some people might find that shocking.
Yes. True.
Some people have found that shocking, for me at least. Like,
Yeah.
I have started watching Beverly Hills within the last year, but before that it was like, you're not a Housewives girl? And I'm like, no, not really. But Housewives of Beverly Hills is, oh no, I'm sorry, Salt Lake City is also new for me because I started watching it with you. So I feel like you're a little bit better off kind of like explaining.
Oh, just I've never been into Housewives, not because I'm like, Housewives, just like I was a child when most of these series started and never got into them. And then I felt like, oh, I don't want to start in like season 7.
Right.
You
They
know,
were all so
they
well
were too far
developed.
ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I felt like I was just going to be missing so much context. So I just kind of like never opted in.
Yeah.
But Salt Lake City just started, I think in 2020.
Okay.
2021, maybe. I don't know. Not that long ago.
Yeah.
So I felt like, okay, jumping in at season 2 was digestible. So I watched all of season 1, and then all the Jen Shah drama happened. Then I kind of like didn't get back into it for a while, and then I recently re-engaged, and I started, I think, at the beginning of season 2 to like rehash what I had previously watched. And now we're kind of caught up. We're in the middle of season 4. I think they just wrapped season 4. And sorry to give it away. I think we can give spoilers, right? Like, this isn't new.
This isn't a TV podcast. Like,
This
just
is not a
don't
TV
listen if you don't want to.
Podcast, yeah, fast forward. But also, like, this is not news. Like, this season finale dropped weeks and weeks ago.
Yeah,
but it like kind of garnered a lot of buzz because there's a scene where Heather Gay is screaming, "Screenshots, receipts, proof," and it's been used as a sound many times, and it is related to one of the new Housewives that they're featuring. And so that's what kind of got me back into it, was like, oh wow, there's a lot of drama that like is drama enough that it's like making news outside of like Bravo land.
Yeah, and it's like fresh drama too, so it's relevant.
It's timely. So we're watching that, and I guess my big takeaway is the new housewife, which now knowing that like what we know about this big blowout at the end, it does, I think the other housewives were like asking the producers, like, did you know?
Right.
Is this why you brought her on?
Right.
And they allege that the answer is no. But the more we watch it with that context, and then like from the beginning of her introduction, it absolutely seems like they knew. And that they brought her in there to be a shit stirrer, which like literally is the point of the show.
Right.
But you think this might be a hot take, but like I don't dig Monica at all. I think like her whole shtick is that she's not like a rich elitist housewife. She doesn't have the money that these other women do. She lives a much more normal life. All true, but she's acting like trash.
Yeah, she's acting like so immature. I think she's quite a bit younger than the other housewives too, and you can tell like she's just like, her low blows are so low and like hit so beneath the belt that it's like, okay, like you're not even making an arguable point.
This isn't even clever.
Yeah, you're just like commenting on people's looks and like going
mocking
after
them.
Yeah, mocking, and like even just like saying like one-offs about their families that like she doesn't really have any background knowledge about. She's just like slicing to slice. Yeah. And she's just like not.
She's a breath of fresh air in a bad way.
Yeah.
She's a breath of bad air.
Breath of stinky air.
Yeah.
But I mentioned earlier that like I think our hot. I agree. I think Monica's like trashy and weird and just like bothersome. But I think not everyone feels that way. Maybe at this point.
knowing what we know now
Yes.
with her bad behavior.
I think some people argue that she's like bringing a young freshness, again, like a fresh air, not in a good way, but some people
Youthfulness,
might think
perhaps.
so. Yeah, youthfulness. Oh, she's a single mom of 4. She's really funny. She's this and that. The other thing, I think that could be an initial reaction from some people, but agreed, knowing what we know about this scandal that is supposedly comes out at the end. Total trash vibes. Trash beaver vibes.
Trash beaver vibes, yeah. You heard it here, but we didn't make up trash beaver. My friend Grace did, or who knows where she got it. But trash beaver describes someone who is just a trash person.
Yeah.
We call them trash beavers. And Monica wins the trash beaver of the week award for me.
Totally.
Other things we've been doing at Camp Kelly, as you mentioned earlier, baking cookies. Caitlyn put the salt granules on them yesterday.
Yeah,
I think Maldon would have been a more appropriate salt choice.
Yeah, I thought I was doing something big. I love a salty cookie. Like, there's nothing better, honestly. But the fact is, they were like Toll House bake and bake. And the Maldon, like a sprinkle of Maldon before I put them in the oven would have been ideal, but the idea came to me after they were already in the oven for like 5 minutes. So I just decided to grab the jar of salt and put a few sprinkles on each cookie, and it didn't have the desired effect. It simply didn't. I also think I took the cookies out. I think I took them out at the right time. Okay, let me back up. I am very well versed in the art of Toll House break and bake cookies, but the normal kind, the one that comes with 24 cookies in a pack, I think, and it was very unclear on the package, but you got the like 12 pack, which make 12 big cookies.
Oh.
And I don't know why I was like, oh, I'm not into the big cookie ideal. Like, there's nothing wrong with it, but I was like, I just want what I know and love. So I broke the big ones in half.
Yeah.
And made like I think 8 little ones. And that then affected the cook time and yada, yada, yada. So I think that was just my mistake from the beginning. And so then I let them cool for too long. Then they weren't really warm anymore. So I put them in the microwave. And I think I put them in the microwave
and then they got
too
a little
long.
tough.
So it just was kind of a flop. But that's what that's what happens at Camp Kelly. We learn from our mistakes.
Caitlyn got a C on cookie baking.
In home ec.
In her home ec class on the Camp Kelly report card. We mentioned she's been doing my morning errands.
Yeah.
That's really important for this counselor to be able to, focus on her work and then have a little treat.
Camp Kelly is a very good preparation for like executive assistantships. It's training for the real world.
Mm-hmm. Yep. If you have anyone who's looking to be an executive assistant, we actually could take on campers while Caitlyn is gone, because I do benefit from the camper Caitlyn around here, and your assistance to me. You did a happy return for me earlier.
I did,
and I think I've said on here, or maybe that was on. I think I ranted on Instagram about how obsessed I was with happy returns, because if you're not familiar, UPS, FedEx previously I think had an agreement with happy returns. Now it's UPS. You go online, you generate a QR code for your return, and then you don't have to bring a box. You don't have to print a label. You just bring the physical item to now the UPS store. I think there's some other places you can do it too, like Petco and some random stores. And it's too easy, because then you get the refund like on the spot.
Yeah.
It's literally incredible. Why it has taken so long to get returns to this point, I don't know.
Yeah. Contrasted
with several vendors I've been ordering things from, have been sending their stuff via USPS, aka the United States Postal Service.
That's crazy behavior.
It's crazy behavior. Stop being cheap. Because both of my packages have been returned to sender in the last week, and now I'm having to track them down. One of the dresses I ordered was sold out. So I'm really upset about that. Yeah. And this is a plug for happy returns. Yeah. Everyone needs to level up, and that's what you need to be using for your business.
Definitely.
But Camper Caitlyn helped me out with taking my happy return to UPS today as well.
It was
on her way to Starbucks.
Yeah, it was nice that all of these things are right across the street too. Like very ideal locations. I will say Amazon, I feel like, has a good return policy going too. It's not technically happy returns.
Same process though.
Yes, but it's game changing.
Yeah. Well, and I think happy returns is like, if Amazon can figure it out, so can we, and we can offer this to other retailers.
Yeah, for sure.
And like Revolve is who that return was with, and they're using happy returns. I am so much more likely to order from Revolve with the return process being so simple than I am Tuckernuck now. Right. where I know that this is coming USPS, and if I have to return something, I'm gonna have to trudge my way to the post office.
Right.
And
Which no one's doing anymore.
No one's doing, and well, actually everyone's doing, because every time I've gone to the post office, there's a 46-person line because there's only one employee at the Cobb County Post Office, it seems.
OMG. Well, I'm happy for your happy return.
Yeah, thank you for handling it.
You're welcome.
The other thing we're doing here at Camp Kelly is flower trimming, because I got lots of flowers for Valentine's Day from my various
Admirers.
lovers, Caitlyn and Matt.
Yeah, I let it be known I got no flowers, but I did get an ice roller, so that's fine.
That's like literally 15 times as expensive as the flowers.
1000%, and I'm so grateful. I don't know if we mentioned this last week, but like one of the wonderful things about being a camper at Camp Kelly is that you're showered in gifts.
Yes, I think you did mention that, but that's true.
So like, not to rub it in, but
my love language is gift giving.
Yeah.
And so if you happen to be in my what's the word? I don't know, circle of people who I want to give
inner
gifts.
circle of people that are not on your shit list, which is kind of like small.
My shit list is small, or the list of people who are not on my shit list?
The list of people who are not on your shit list.
Yeah, true. It is small.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things
bounce
that
back and forth.
ordered, Caitlyn is at the top of either list at any given point, typically. One of the items returned to sender by USPS is a gift for someone, so it made me extra mad that my gift giving endeavor was hampered.
Yeah, super rude.
Yeah.
But speaking of, these flower alternative gifts and Camp Kelly experiences, we do a lot of skincare here. And not because we're like super clean girl aesthetic, like
the opposite.
Queens. Yeah, like we're kind of sloppy and messy sometimes. But I have this new skincare tool. It's not the ice roller. I do have the ice roller, but I switched the second ice roller for the other Skinny Confidential massager that I've loved. I've had my eyes on forever, and this was the perfect opportunity to get her, and I love it so much, maybe a little more than the ice roller, because it's just like more accessible. Like I don't put this one in the freezer, so it just like stays on my counter, and I wash it every night just like with a little towelette and some soap, and so it's always clean, and it's just such a wonderful way to start our mornings / end our evenings. And I've been loving the Summer Fridays face oil as my newest step in my skincare routine, and so we've been rolling each other's faces, and by each other I mean I roll Kelly's face and then I have to do my own, but again, that's okay.
And we did some dry brushing.
That's true. Yes. Yeah. We groomed ourselves like ponies.
Yeah. And then I got a spray tan the next day, and it was the most janky spray tan I've ever had, probably because my brushing was disruptive to my skin, but for good reason. In this almost 1 year out from the wedding, status, we have to really be getting all of our beauty together, because we have to look the best we've ever looked. March 22nd, 2025.
For sure. All parties.
Including you.
Yeah, me, mom.
Everyone.
We got to get
Everyone
the whole
needs
squad
to get
on board.
their lives together.
Yeah.
And yeah.
For sure.
Level up, be beautiful.
It's go time.
It's go time. I'm excited about it.
Yeah. Well, where in the world is Kelly this week?
Kelly is in Washington, D.C.
Not currently. You're currently on the couch with me.
Well, yeah, I'm currently... I'm in Atlanta right now, but next week, I suppose, I will be headed to DC for like 3 nights. I've been to DC many times. I do a lot of work up there. But we'll be there with some colleagues rather than solo. So I am looking for some restaurant recommendations to be able to take the gals to and enjoy. I've been to some of the hot spots or favorites, but if you have a standout, I would love to know about it. So taking any and all Washington, D.C. restaurant recommendations. We probably could venture out to like Alexandria or something too, but within the city is probably optimal. Yeah. So would love some new insight if you have any.
For sure. I'm going to try to drop a box, like a comment box in the Insta stories if I get it together. We'll see. If not, just DM us or text Kelly. I don't know.
I was going to go to Philadelphia from DC to go to a bridal trunk show.
Thank God she's not doing that anymore.
Yeah. I was like looking at train tickets, like all getting very creative. But that has been deemed unnecessary.
Yeah.
So we'll not be doing that. And then I was going to, also, where in the world will I be in a few months? Paris. I forget if I mentioned this last week or not, but Matt and I are going to Paris for my 30th birthday.
Like we were in Paris.
Exactly. And he's only been there once. I've never been there. So if you have any specific recommendations for dinner, places we need to go, we need to see. We're going to see all the hot spots, obviously. The Louvre. We probably won't like go onto the Eiffel Tower, but we're going to go look at it. I've actually also conned myself, not really conned, but like set up engagement photos to be taken there, which Matt could probably would want to do literally anything else on this trip. But like, I just figured we're there and it's my birthday, so we're going to do it.
Right. Birthday activities.
Yeah. You heard at the beginning of the episode how strongly I feel about my birthday. So,
yeah, for sure.
Getting what I want.
Right. So Matt's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, sure. Whatever.
Biting his tongue. Well, what a king. And with that, we will see you next week. And by see you, we mean you will hear us and we won't see you at all. But maybe with time that will change. I don't know. We gotta go. Love you, kitties. Stay well.
Meow.